Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. It's that time of the week once again for the weekly challenges to go ahead and refresh. And we do have something a little bit special in terms of this week. We finally have a Group C race event. This new special event is set from a night to day cycle at the legendary LeMans circuit. In terms of the rest of the events, it's a bit of a mixed bag with one of the new latest update 1.54 events mixed in, and in terms of the rewards, it is purely monetary gain this week. So here is an overview of the week ahead. This one is November week 4. It will end on the 28th of November 2024 at midnight. In terms of the events, the first one of the week is Grand Valley South with the Jimny Cup, of course one of the latest events to the game with update 1.54. Then we move over to Tokyo Expressway south counterclockwise for the Japanese Clubman Cup 550. We then go off-road with the Barcelona Rallycross layout for the WTC 600. That one is very enjoyable. We then have the Porsche Cup, of course, aimed at using the new 992 911. And then, of course, we have the special event of the week at Le Mans, which is the World Group C Racing Championship, a brand new special event and one that is seemingly taken over from the JGTC and DTM special events. Now, in terms of the rewards this week, for completing one event is 100,000 credits, for free is 200,000 credits, and for all 5 is 500,000 credits. So heading into event number 1 this week, it is the Jimny Cup at Grand Valley South, of course one of the new events to update 1.54 and has had a few slight changes to it, of course with the addition now that we can use the new Jimny Sierra here. So there are 2 of them to pick from. Overall, this is a pretty easy event. So my choice, of course, would be the new Sierra Jimny variant with a few slight upgrades on it. So let's get into the event itself. Of course, as always, I will run it on the hardest difficulty and stay as close to any recommendations or PP limits as possible so that I'm not just walking away with it. Now, in terms of the Jimny event, of course, we do now have the choice of both variants, whether that's the K version or the new Sierra. Now, of course, the ability to use both variants of the Jimny means that there's a bit of choice here this time around. Of course, if you want to go for the original K version, that's more lighter, more nimble, and of course a lot better to kind of get through the pack. However, the Sierra variant is just overall the better of the two, a little bit more powerful and will cost less to upgrade. Now, in terms of the upgrades I have on here, I have around about 110 brake horsepower with a few slight suspension changes, so nothing over the top. However, it keeps my upgrades in line with what the AI are running. Now, in terms of the event itself, it is super simple, this one. There are 12 cars in total, 11 AI up in front of you over a 3-lap sprint. So we don't have to worry about tyres or fuel or really anything like that. It's all about just picking them off one by one and making your way through the grid. Now, the majority of the time you can get a lot of these Jimnys under braking just because the AI gets incredibly unstable with them. They'll sort of rock and roll and kind of, go all over the place. So just jump them through the corners and under braking and you should be absolutely golden for this one. So in terms of taking the lead for this event, I went ahead and did this on the final lap, again taking advantage through the downhill section where the Jimny gets all out of shape, and then went on to take a relatively easy win by around about 4.5 seconds. And that was it, job done, tick number 1 of the week, nice and easy to get us started. In terms of the payout with the clean race bonus for this one, you're looking at 47,000 credits and a few miles travelled towards your daily driving marathon. Of course, we're going to get 100k on top of that for completing the first event of the week. So let's move into event number 2 now. This is of course the Japanese Clubman Cup 550 over at Tokyo Expressway south counterclockwise. Of course, this is aimed at 550 pp Japanese cars. Once again, it's very much a sprint race style event, so you don't have to worry about tyres, fuel or damage or anything like that. My car of choice here was the Lexus RCF. This is one that I've kind of slept on for a long while. However, since using it a few times, it's been absolutely incredible. So let's get into the event. As you can see, there are once again 12 cars in total, 11 AI over a 3-lap sprint. So very much set out like the first event with the Jimny Cup. However, the cars this time are much more powerful. Now, in terms of the cars themselves, it is very much a mixed grid. You'll see things like the GTO there that just kind of hang around and just do their own thing, and then you have the likes of the GTRs, the NSXs, RX-7s, which can be quite quick, especially if you're trying to match them in terms of the PP rating. Now, the car I'm using here is just under 550 and did manage to beat this event with relative ease overall. The majority of the track you're seeing here is pretty much a high-speed version of Tokyo Expressway, so I would recommend going for speed over handling here. Again, the better you can do in a straight line, the more chance you have of taking a fairly easy win here. Of course, the RCF will do that job with relative ease, especially up against the likes of the Sylvias and such, which just naturally drop back during the period of the race. Again, some of the fast AI can give you a bit of trouble in a straight line. They also do have decent handling overall, but honestly, something like this, a big growling V8, would do the job just fine. Now again, a lot of your overtakes will naturally be done in a straight line here because it is such a fast layout. There is two key sections right away at the start, and then this tunnel section with a few corners mixed in. As you can see, we got ourselves right up behind the NSX on lap 2, got in a bit of a slip, and then we'll try and outbrake him into the corner. Now of course the NSX is a much lighter vehicle than the RCF we're using here, so it did manage to have that bit of advantage, but we was as heavy footed as possible to get it stopped without going into the side of him. After that, it's all about just keeping it clean, getting a nice drive out, and that's exactly what we did. In the end, this was a relatively easy win after 3 laps, taking just over 7 minutes in the end. So really, it's a nice easy event for event number 2 this week, and of course that's going to be tick number 2. Now in terms of the payout, it is very low, being a day 1 event. 30,000 credits with that clean race bonus. It's pretty pathetic, to be honest. So overall, certainly an enjoyable event, just let down by the mediocre payout. Let's move into event number 3 then. Things are going to get better from here. This is the WTC 600 at the Barcelona Rallycross layout. Of course, you will need dirt tyres for this one, for this 6-lap sprint race. It really doesn't take long at all, and you do have that standing Rallycross start, which I think is excellent here. So my car of choice, well, it could only really be one thing, and that is the GR Yaris that you saw running around here in the time trial video last week. That was my car of choice, tuned to 600 pp, and it was absolutely overpowered compared to the rest of the field. Although it is set in stone at 600 here, you really don't need anything near that. About 500 will probably do the job. Now in terms of the cars, again, it's very much a mixed bag. You've got, you know, big pickup trucks, but then you've also got things such as the Citroens, the Renaults and the Honda Civics, which aren't really that great on the dirt. However, there is also some 4-wheel drive Japanese cars here that can really give you a few problems. So things like the Lancia, of course the GR Yaris, all of them are very good off-road, and they are the AIs that you want to watch out for. So onto the track layout itself, it's incredibly tight around here, meaning that you're best off just picking the AI off one by one and trying to keep it nice and clean, of course if you want that 50% race bonus, which I always recommend you do. So just pick them off, be sensible about it, start making your moves and just work your way through the grid. There is a bit of a difference between the front of the grid and the back, as mentioned. Around the back is very much a mixed bag of, you know, big pickups, front wheel drive cars, and they won't give you too much trouble. But once you start getting around to those 4-wheel drive missiles, then honestly that's where it's going to get a little bit tricky. I did eventually catch the GR Yaris on lap 5 of 6, throwing it down the inside with the better acceleration and straight line speed, and managing to basically confirm my first place at that point. So just keep your nose clean, keep it nice and steady, and you should be golden for this one. That is event number 3 of the week done and dusted, and of course tick number 3 of the week. Now in terms of the payout with the clean race bonus, it's 67,500 credits, and of course we are going to get our daily as well, which is a 4-star today, and the 200,000 credits on top of this for completing 3 events. Let's move in to event number 4 then, which is the Porsche Cup at Lake Maggiore full course. This event right here is a 5-lap sprint race. It really is basically there to show off the new Porsche, which is the 992. The Mission X, unfortunately, cannot be really detuned properly to get it to work around here without sacrificing a bunch of performance. So, of course, my car of choice would be the new 992, the Turbo S, which is new for update 1.54 and will do the job just fine. Now, in terms of the event itself, you have a lot of time to get through this grid. There are 16 cars in total, 15 AI over 5 laps. Again, because it's a sprint race style, we're not worrying about tyres or fuel or really any strategy. And of course, because it's a Porsche Cup, there's a massive mixture of different Porsches from different eras here. A lot of them very easy to pick off in the stronger, more modern models. Now, a lot of the classics that you're seeing here, whilst they do have the kit to look like they've got the performance there, I think the majority of them are just running standard stock parts, so they shouldn't give you any trouble whatsoever. And of course, if you have something like the Turbo S, which is 4-wheel drive, it's an absolute rocket out of corners and incredibly quick in a straight line. Now, I do have a few changes here. That is mainly the race exhaust, some anti-lag, as well as lowering the car itself with some different aero options. This is way under the limit, which I believe is 650 pp for this one. Now, you will notice that the actual problem with this event is just that disparity across the board. As you can see, you'll start off at the back, which is absolutely miles back from the rest of the field, and just have to chase the rabbit. Again, this being a day one event, it really does show that GT7 issue quite clearly. As you get yourself closer to the front of the grid, you'll just find yourself picking them off one by one, and then there'll be a huge gap to the next one and the next one. As you can see, I took the lead here on lap 4 out of 5. This car was way ahead of anything else, so it's just a case of, waiting my time and then just getting it done and dusted. In the end, I did take a relatively easy first place. That's tick number 4 of the week, 105k with the clean race bonus. Of course, no bonus rewards for this one. And that's going to move me quite swiftly into the final event of the week. This brand new World Group C Racing Championship special event. Now, on the surface, this is an event that everybody's been wanting. I think personally it's absolutely incredible. However, although there's no road cars, mixed in like we do with DTM and JGTC, Polyphony forgot to turn the tyres, fuel and weather on here, unfortunately. However, get ready for those sparks to fly, as it will be set in night to day with the day and night system in place. My car of choice for this one would be the Sauber. However, I do have it draped in this Minolta livery. So let's get into the event itself then. So of course, we are here at Le Mans, going from night into day. I do recommend, if you are running a Group C car, to strap a turbocharger to it or an extra one from the GT shop. The main reason is because the AI do tend to have a habit of absolutely disappearing on a straight. Of course, a lot of them are really bunched up together, unlike you at the back there, so they're going to be slipping each other along and will probably be long gone if you don't have that turbocharger installed. So I do recommend putting it on. Now, in terms of the track itself, because it is such a fast straight track really for the majority of it, that is where the majority of your overtakes are going to come from. For the opening couple of laps, when it's set in the night time, it can get extremely sketchy. Visibility is low, Le Mans not always that well lit up, and there'll be sparks flying everywhere, meaning that you really need to be on the edge of your seat to pick off those overtakes and just ensure you're doing them as cleanly as possible. As you can see though, it will kind of go into daytime relatively quickly. I don't know what setting they had on the time of day, but it did seem to pass very, very quick. By the time you get to lap 3, you're basically going to be in full daytime conditions, in which case you can just carry on as you were. But at least it won't be half as sketchy. Now, I did manage to catch the leaders towards the end of lap 2, and going on to lap 3 would be when I would eventually take the lead. As mentioned, these Nissans are insanely quick and they will constantly just tow each other along, so really be on your guard with these pair if they're out there leading in your event. As you can see, they were just constantly on the tow, pulling each other along, getting overtakes done on each other, swapping and swapping positions constantly throughout the race. So we're just going to hang on to the back of them until we get onto the main straight. Again, they do seem to be very, very quick through this section, and yeah, eventually we would make that move, get it done and get ourselves into first place. So again, it all depends on how you want to run it. If you do want the turbocharger, you're going to be in for an easier time than if not. Of course, if you don't, there is a chance that they may just disappear up the road. And there we go, after 5 laps completed we would finish the event with a relatively easy first place by just over 14 seconds. That is going to give us tick number 5 of the week and the weekly challenges done and dusted. Now in terms of the payout for this one, relatively low, 210,000 credits with that clean race bonus, of course bundled in with 500,000 credits for completing all the events this week. So moving into the rewards, we did get a 4-star roulette ticket for our daily driving marathon, which we're going to open up now. And thankfully, this is a car only ticket, so we are going to at least get something worthy here. Now for me, I wanted the Dodge, and that's exactly what I'm going to get. So I'm pretty happy with this one for 26 miles driven. I cannot complain whatsoever. Of course, though, we also have the additional rewards of 100,000 credits for one event, 200,000 credits for completing 3 events, and for completing all 5, it's 500,000 credits, which we can add to our account. And there we go, that rounds up this set of weekly challenges. Of course, these are massively enjoyable. That new Group C one is fantastic. I just hope that next time it returns, Polyphony realise that it's just race cars in there and they can go ahead and actually put tyres and fuel on, as well as weather if they want to. That would be extremely exciting. Anyway, let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Peace.